Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Kate Micucci.
Thank you, President Brundage. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Hey, Keystone graduates, woo! I am incredibly honored to be here with you today, celebrating you. You have made it through 4 years of hard work, 2 of those years working through a pandemic. Your college experience may not have been exactly how you imagined, but you made it through, and I am so thrilled for each and every one of you. Today is a day of celebration. You know, it was only 21 years ago that I was sitting where you are. Well, actually, the graduation was on the baseball field on campus, and now we're partying here at a ski slope. It's pretty cool. President Brundage has asked me to share with you my experiences as a Keystone graduate. And I hope that in doing so, I can leave you with a bit of hope and inspiration, or at least make you laugh, which is actually a really important part of life, being able to laugh at yourself and at life. But we'll get to the advice part a little later. First, a chuckle. Okay. Now, I once told this story on Conan O'Brien's show, but it is one of my favorite stories ever, and it takes place at Keystone College, so I'd love to share it with you today. So one of my favorite things at Keystone was the entertainment and activities they would have for the students. And I tried to attend as many of these activities as possible. And on this particular day, there was a magic show. And I was walking through Hibbard Campus Center on my way to lunch when a man approached me. And he was like, "Hey, excuse me, are you going to the magic show later?" And I told him I was, and that I was looking forward to it. And then he told me that he was the magician, and he wondered if I would be willing to be his assistant for one of his tricks. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Yes, I would love to." And he asked if I could go and rehearse with him. So I've said, okay. So I felt like I had just been discovered for like show business or something. I was so excited. And we rehearsed my part of the trick. The magician really didn't explain what the trick was. He just explained my part, which was to climb into a giant metal box that was sitting on a table. Then once I was in the box, I would lay down inside the table. Now at this point, all I had to do was lay there as the trick was happening above me. Now when the trick was over, I would just sit up and get out of the box. It seemed easy enough. So I learned my part and I was on my way. I was so excited. I went to lunch and I told everyone I knew, even people I didn't know. I was like, "You gotta come to the magic show. I'm gonna be performing in the magic show. It's gonna be great. You gotta come see it." So when it came time for the show, the room was filled with all of my friends, and the magician, he made eye contact with me and nodded as I took a seat. So soon enough, it was time for the trick I was going to be in. And the magician said, "And now I will choose someone out of the audience at random." And he walked directly to me and he reached out his hand, and I was like, "At random?" My stomach sank. I had told everyone that I was going to be part of the show. He never told me not to tell anyone. I could hear whispers in the crowd. He knew he was gonna pick her. And now I'm nervous because I feel like I have ruined the whole thing. But I didn't say anything. I just took the magician's hand as he helped me up on the table, and I was shaking because I was so nervous. And now remember, all I had to do was sit in the metal box and then from there, lay down. But I was so shaky, I slipped and I fell into the metal box. And as I fell, I cut the top of my hand on the metal. And not only was it a fast fall, but it was also a really, really loud, like, ba-ba-ba-ba-boom. And so now I'm like holding the top of my hand because it's getting very, very bloody. And the magician looks at me and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like, "Do the trick, okay, do the trick." And so he does the trick, and I can't really tell what's happening because I'm in a table, but I can hear him say, "And now I will put swords through this metal box." And I can hear swords going through the box that I am hypothetically in. And then he takes the swords out, and one at a time, he helps me up, and he says, "There she is, and she is totally fine." And I smile and I wave as blood is gushing down my hand and onto my arm, and he looked like a terrible magician. So now this is just really one of many incredible memories I have as a student at Keystone. The 2 years I spent here were two of the most important years of my life. I was always a late bloomer in about everything I do, so looking back, it totally made sense that I came to Keystone as a confused art student. But Keystone did with me what Keystone does best. It filled me with encouragement and confidence, and it allowed me to find myself. I remember a few months before I found Keystone College, my mom and I went to New York for my 18th birthday, and we went to the Today Show where we stood outside the studio and everyone's smiling and holding signs, and my sign said, "I'm 18 today." And on a commercial break, Ann Curry, the newscaster who I had looked up to for years, walked up to me and she wished me a happy birthday, and I was so starstruck. And then she said, "So, what are your plans after graduating high school?" And I froze. Whenever someone would ask me this, I just wanted to cry. Because the truth was, I had no idea. I had no plans. And as I fought back tears, Ann Curry said to me in the coolest, chillest way, "Hey, look, it's okay. The important thing is to have a dream. Even if it doesn't end up being the thing you do in the end, it will help lead you to it." And I smiled and I thanked her. All the while, I'm feeling so embarrassed because I almost cried in front of my favorite Today Show host. But her words stuck with me, and I knew she was right. So I picked a dream. I really loved the movie Big, starring Tom Hanks, and I love toys, so the dream I chose to pursue was one of a toy designer. I mean, who wouldn't want to live in New York City in a giant loft with a trampoline, right? So I did some research, and I found out that there was one school in the whole country that taught toy design. And with a little more discovery, I found out that Keystone College had a 2-year art program that would carry over perfectly into the toy program. So I finally had my plan. I absolutely loved my time at Keystone College. I loved my art instructors. It felt like a family. I loved my classes and my fellow students. It was a very warm and fuzzy time, even when it was freezing cold and I was carrying all of my art supplies up an icy hill past Harris Hall. I loved my sculpture classes with Cliff Prokop, and thinking I was going to be a toy designer, I made a lot of the assignments into something toy-like. And this led me to making puppets. And that led me to loving doing voices for the puppets. And my final project before graduating, I carved giant puppets of the story of Little Red Riding Hood. And on my last day of classes, I performed the show for my sculpture class. The wolf had a stomach that opened up, and Little Red and her grandma screamed, "Help, help, get us out of this gooey stomach." It was a total hit, and I couldn't help but feel my gut pulling me toward acting. So just when I thought I'd be going to school to study toy design, I listened to my gut and changed paths. I finished my bachelor's at Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles, but because of wanting to graduate on time, I finished out my art degree. I did every odd job I could to help pay rent and loans and ramen. I taught piano, I babysat, I did odd jobs for people like scrubbing fish tanks. I was a birthday party clown named Silly Jilly, and thanks to all of my sculpture classes here at Keystone, I got a job as a sandcastle building instructor at the beach. Yep, that is a real job. Finally, I figured out how to get my first commercial audition. It was for some kind of chicken, and I had to square dance, and I didn't get the part, but I was so excited because it was a chance. If I could get one audition, there would be more. And eventually, I started to build my career as an actor. So see, all I had to do was meet Ann Curry, get some life-changing advice, aim to be a toy designer, get accepted into Keystone College, sculpt a bunch of puppets, realize I like giving those puppets a voice more than actually making them, decide to move to LA, finish my art degree, learn to be okay with, learn to scrub some fish tanks, quickly learn to square dance, go on a million auditions, learn to be okay with a million rejections, and trust that I was on the right path the entire time. It's kind of like Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, but with clowns, and I was the clown. For most of you, you have been in school since you were 3. You have known when you were going to have class, have a break, have a meal, take a nap. Your schedule has been planned out for you your whole life. And now, for the first time, you are being spit out into the world, and it is thrilling, and it is freeing, and it also can be a little wobbly too, and that's okay. So here's some advice that might help you along the way. The important thing is to have a dream. Even if it doesn't end up being the thing you do in the end, it will help lead you to it. Oh, right, yeah, that's the advice I got from Ann Curry. But it's good, right? Okay, here's another one. Write down your goals. Weirdly, there is some kind of power in putting your goals down on paper. And if you're lucky enough to find someone to share your goals with, do it. Early in our careers, my friend Ricky and I would meet every few months at California Pizza Kitchen, and we'd write down our goals on a napkin. We would read our goals to one another, and then we would fold up the napkin and put it in our wallets. We'd carry our goals around in our purses, and then a few months later, do it all again. We would compare where we were at, see what we had achieved, cross things off our list, add new goals. It's a very vulnerable thing to share your dreams with someone, and it is also so incredible to have someone to root for you and also someone to hold you accountable. I was lucky enough to find my friend Ricky, who eventually became my writing partner. We soon formed a comedy band called Garfunkel and Oates, and pretty quickly we were doing comedy shows around town, eventually touring the country and parts of the world. We had our own TV show, and currently we're making an animated musical. It has been so much fun and also so much hard work. And I'm certain we got to where we were going faster because we were doing it together. So another piece of advice, if you can find someone who's going in the same direction as you can team up, because one motor can feel like a reliable Toyota Camry, and two motors can feel like a rocket ship. Here's a little fun piece of advice that I find never fails me. It's called the sleep on it test. If you're having trouble with the decision, before you go to bed, write down the pros and cons. Look at the situation from every possible angle. And when you wake up in the morning, you'll have a clear first thought. And in my experience, it's always the right answer. Okay, another thing. Things won't always go the way you planned. And when this happens, take it as an opportunity to think outside the box and reroute in a new and exciting way. Like, take the lemons you are handed and make a brand new kind of lemonade with strawberries and mint and a splash of orange juice. Throw a lime in there, lots of ice, maybe some LaCroix. Make it the weirdest, coolest lemonade you can think of. Basically, there are no rules. So embrace change and make the most of it. Okay, here's another big one. Use all the energy you have in your 20s. Max it out. Don't waste it. Just look at the Beatles. They did all that before they were 30. No pressure. But seriously, Paul McCartney was 27 when the Beatles broke up. They changed the history of music. They changed the world. In your 20s, your brain is newly fully formed. You have the ability to pull late nights and wake up in the morning feeling fine. This is a gift. Take it and work as hard as you can to reach the goals you want to achieve. You have all the power. I am so excited for each and every one of you. You've got this. I would like to close with a little song I wrote about how special Keystone College is to all of us. I was lucky enough to Zoom with a few graduates last week who shared Keystone memories with me. Thank you to Mo Young, Scarlett Pujos-Ricio, Mark Trexler, Madeline Fernandez, and Taylor Sircone for helping me with this song. I just have to get my ukulele out. Hang on. Okay. Alrighty. I feel like, let me do this here. Sorry, I'm gonna find this. Oh boy. I feel like, okay, this is gonna be great. I think. It will be, okay. All right, we'll do it this way. Gotta roll up my sleeve. How's everybody doing? Hanging in there? You got your fans? Okay. You guys wanna play? No, I'm kidding, we don't have, okay. They rang the bell on campus when you first arrived. Made a bunch of new friends, learned about Chrissy Mathewson, Keystone Pride, intramural, dodgeball, kickball, volleyball, and more. Nature trails and haunted buildings, so much to explore. Walk on suspended bridges, fish for fish and look for ducks. Get a slice of pizza at the caf, and guess what? The campus got a Starbucks. Oh, we love Keystone, a special place to be, where the students, staff, and faculty feel like a family. It's a campus on a hillside, the place where we are from, where we believe, belong, become. So many late nights writing papers, study hard. You can do most anything as long as you don't lose your key card. Got a brand new library, filled it with laptop computers. Feels like a sci-fi movie. I guess we're in the future. You can go to a baseball game just like Field of Dreams. And pretty cool, after 71 years, Keystone has a football team. Woo! Oh, we love Keystone. A special place to be, where the students, staff, and faculty feel like a family. It's a campus on a hillside, the place where we are from, where we believe, belong, become. Even through a pandemic, when everything felt wrong, you stayed on track, you led the way, you were patient, you were strong. You really made the most of it, stuck inside your dorm room. Only way to see your teacher was by logging on to Zoom. But now you're here, so take a breath and we will cheer. 'Cause your new life is about to start, and you'll always have Keystone in your heart. Oh, we love Keystone, a special place to be, where the students, staff, and faculty feel like a family. It's a campus on a hillside, the place where we are from, where we believe belong, become, where we believe belong, become. Congratulations, everybody. Go get them out there.